How will the world end? 12 possible apocalyptic events the world is going to end. You can define the end of the world in a few different ways: the end of human civilization, the end of all life, or the destruction of the entire hunk of rock. But no matter how you slice it, it's all coming undone eventually. The only question is when. Over the years, hundreds of different dates have been proposed for the apocalypse. So far, all have come and gone without so much as a single hell mouth or horseman. But unlike those more apocryphal predictions, mainstream science is pretty certain of a few events that can or will cause the end of our world. Questions for students, and others: how do you think the world will end? Will it take a great extinction event for humans to disappear? Will humans be around long enough to colonize other planets? Will the Cleveland Browns win a Super Bowl before the world ends? Please let us know in the comments section below. Whether it's microbes, machines, or missiles from space, here are the ways scientists predict the world will end. The sun turns on the plants. The plants turn on us. The most accurate models of our sun's future predict that in about 600 million years, the sun will have become bright enough to critically disrupt the carbonate-silicate cycle on Earth. This crucial interplay between silicon and carbon helps maintain carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere, and so this inevitable disruption will cause carbon dioxide levels to plummet. Plants will become incapable of photosynthesis, and in turn, will no longer produce the oxygen we need to breathe. Nearly all animal life, and most ecosystems in general, will go extinct. So yes, when plants turn on us, they won't have a choice, but that will hardly matter to any humans remaining on Earth, as they slowly suffocate or just evolve into sentient gas monsters. Comets, or asteroid impact. About 66 million years ago, a comet or asteroid smashed into Earth, killing around 75% of all life on Earth. That includes the coolest things to ever walk the Earth, the non-avian dinosaurs. And more comets asteroids keep coming, and sometimes unsettlingly close. In 2020, an asteroid named 2020 VT4 passed just 230 miles from Earth. For context, the Moon is 238,900 miles from Earth on average. As deadly as asteroids are, they tend to come from fairly close, often the asteroid belt, just beyond Mars. But comets, more often come from farther away, meaning they pick up more speed on their way here. And these dirty snowballs are hard to detect because they're very dark. They don't emit much light until they hit a heat source and begin spewing the bright, gaseous trails they're known for. If one, big enough, just tens of miles across, hits the Earth, then humans go the way of the dinosaurs. A land impact would destroy an area the size of a nation like the Netherlands. Should an asteroid hit, destruction would be caused by the clouds of dust shot into the atmosphere, affecting climate, food supplies, and creating political instability rather than the initial impact. Artificial intelligence. Perhaps the most discussed apocalyptic threat of the moment, this refers to the development of machines and software with human-level intelligence. Such intelligences could not be easily controlled, either by the groups creating them, or some international body, and would probably be able to boost their own intelligence. And if they decide humanity of no value, they will be driven to build a world without humans. But such artificial intelligence could easily combat most other risks in the report, making it a tool of great potential. At the moment, no one knows whether there is a real risk of extreme machine intelligence, and the researchers, therefore, give it a wide estimate of probability. Extreme climate change. Scientists currently predict climate change caused by human activity adding carbon dioxide to the atmosphere could mean average global temperatures increase by 4°C. But there is a risk that the warming could be much more extreme than the estimates suggest and rise up to 6°C. The impact would be strongest in poorer countries, which would become uninhabitable, the research concludes, and lead to mass deaths, famines, and mass migration. Ye Olde Malthusian catastrophe. Way back in 1798, the economist and sociologist Thomas Malthus argued, quite simply, that our population will rise faster than the rate of our food production. This will trigger starvation, global conflict, and eventually population collapse, wherein most humans on Earth will perish. We know this event as a Malthusian catastrophe. Since its inception, Malthus's hypothesis has been argued against vehemently by any number of disparate groups, many citing the numerous technological innovations that have enabled modern, large-scale food production. But the idea has nonetheless held to be at least somewhat true. From Malthus's time to now, the human population has exploded to around 8 times its size, and dozens of countries' billions of people live in constant starvation. Whether or not a worldwide collapse will occur, many are currently unable to view food as a guarantee, and there are more each year. Global pandemic. New diseases or new strains of old diseases have a way of cropping up, and sooner or later a real whopper might happen that devastates human life. Some sort of AIDS/HIV type of disease might sneak up on us and destroy much of humanity, before scientists have any sort of counter for the disease. Look at the panic caused by the coronavirus and Ebola outbreak in recent years. Should we experience a disease with an extremely high mortality rate, and one that is easily passed between people, especially between animals and people, we could be in for a civilization-ending event. The Walking Dead. Previous pandemics such as the Black Death in the 14th century killed a third of Europe's population. Smallpox, measles and chickenpox combined to nearly wipe out the Native American population of North America when Europeans brought their diseases to the New World. Not only are as yet unidentified maladies out there in the world, viruses and other germs have a habit of evolving and mutating, perhaps to the point where we experience mass death. Only 100 years ago, the Spanish flu pandemic killed as many as 100 million people across the globe. Could this happen today? You bet it can. And then, there is the human factor in genetic modification of microorganisms that could potentially become a global catastrophe. This potential human meddling with nature could come as a misguided attempt to better the world, or as an effort to create a better biological warfare germ. Another factor, bedeviling doctors and researchers today, are the various microbes that become tolerant of our antibiotics. Ice Age. Unlike the nifty animated movies by the same name, an ice age is nothing to be entertained by. The most recent one still allowed humans and large mammals to live, but previous ice ages would have precluded civilization, as we know it. Of the 5 known ice ages the world has gone through, the most severe resulted in all of North America covered in ice, often a mile or more thick. Even the most recent addition caused sea levels to fall by 400 feet. Minor periods of glaciation have occurred at least 12 times in the past million years, so even without humans messing up the environment, the Earth throws us some serious bad weather all on its own. Obviously, any scenario in which the entire Earth except the equatorial regions is covered with ice would drastically change things, and science is unlikely to come up with a solution to such a scenario. Supervolcano. The danger of a supervolcano, one capable of producing an eruption 1,000 times larger than normal, is the amount of aerosols and dust sent into the atmosphere. This dust would absorb the sun's rays and cause a global volcanic winter with effects similar to those of an asteroid impact or a nuclear war. With technology currently available, there is little that could be done to prevent the damage. A super eruption. No, we don't mean a really great Eddie Van Halen solo, but in this case a volcanic super eruption. And according to the Geological Society, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. That's because the massive volcanic eruptions which only attain the super title, if they spew at least 240 cubic miles of volcanic material, happen all the time. There are over 60 known to have occurred, each potentially causing species-level extinctions and their own mini ice ages. And geologists believe that there have been more yet to be discovered. Though not much of a threat in our lifetime, Yellowstone might just be the undoing of many Americans and Canadians, in a few thousand years. Asteroid strikes and destroys the moon. In this scenario, a large asteroid strike on the moon could spell the end of life as we know it by a couple of different ways. First, the enormous dust cloud created might circle the Earth and block sunlight, resulting in an ice age and lack of photosynthesis. All or almost all life on Earth could end just because of the dust. Or major chunks of moon and asteroid could hit the Earth, causing massive damage down here, maybe even resulting in more dust. The absence of the moon, even if the dust and debris did not kill us, could change the rotation of the Earth. Perhaps, inducing a wobble and mess up our seasons and day and night sequence, maybe even change our axis of rotation, causing a shift in where the poles of the Earth are. Weather could change dramatically, and there would be no ocean tides, further affecting sea life and weather. While scientists are not sure exactly what would happen, most seem to think it would not be beneficial to us, to say the least. Nuclear war. Not just any nuclear war, but a knockdown, drag-out total nuclear war, where the US and its allies conduct a massive operation against Russia and vice versa. While China also gets involved. The massive dust, generated by thousands of nuclear explosions, let alone the radiation and blast effects, could create a nuclear winter that could cause mass famine across the Earth. Infrastructure and transportation of foods and fertilizers, and disruption of power grids and fuel production would cripple agriculture, ending civilization as we know it. Would this scenario mean every single human would die? Probably not, but civilized and industrialized areas would likely be ruined. Scientists do admit a chance of the extinction of Homo sapiens in the event of a nuclear winter. In the event of a total nuclear war, many millions of people would not die in the immediate blasts, even in the US, Russia, and other target nations. Places such as South America and Africa might not get nuked at all, but could still suffer the effects of nuclear winter and nuclear radioactive fallout. Wrath of God. This last scenario requires that you believe in a supreme being that not only has the power to end human life on Earth, but also has the disposition to do so. Using the common all-powerful model as our God, he could, or she could, if you prefer, just end things at a whim without having to go through any of the natural types of events. Such as asteroid strikes, catastrophic weather, volcanic eruptions or plagues. For that matter, if a supreme being wanted to be done with us, why would he and she go through the charade of using a natural event to accomplish his and her goal? Then, there is the religious idea of an apocalypse, complete with the rapture and all that. Perhaps, the very scenario will be what eventually happens. After all, hundreds of millions of people believe that. Question for students and subscribers: what scenario could cause a supreme being to tire of humans and end humanity? Just how angry would God have to be? Please let us know in the comments section below. If this is your first time on my YouTube channel, kindly like, share, and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to get new video updates.